As you know, most high school students, when we finish, we don't know what we want. We just have dreams and hopes. My journey was clearly not linear, and along the way, I felt like a failure so many times. Like people nowadays, they relate more to personal brands than to brands themselves. If you see Elon Musk, he has way more visibility and followers than Tesla and SpaceX combined.
That shift your mindset about personal branding and online credibility. I look at it from this perspective that it's kind of an insurance for your career. So did you use AI to create your LinkedIn content? How was the experience like?
That's why you can go right now and copy someone's famous post like Justin Welsh, and you will get nothing.
If there is a student who is trying to get into a new field, right? What would be your general advice to them? Start building your personal brand before you feel ready. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of GenieTalks show. I'm your greatest of all time host, Bilal Asif. If you're someone who has asked this question to themselves that what if I could change my career domain? Is it too late to make such a move? Then this episode is for you. Because our guest today is a living proof who has gone through these experiences not once but actually multiple times. Anas Riad studied medicine and then considered architecture engineering and then eventually landed that data science is actually his cup of tea. His journey actually projects that you do not need a linear path. And if you're looking for clarity, then it does not come with figuring everything out beforehand, but it comes by taking actions, making mistakes, and eventually landing to the place where you've always wanted to be. What makes Anna's story more interesting is that he actually built credibility on LinkedIn even before he had a formal job title. His first gig came through LinkedIn, and today he's consulted over dozens of companies, has a growing YouTube channel where he talks about data science. What I also want to learn from Anas is that we actually both belong to hardcore technical backgrounds. I'm a product engineer, Anas is a data scientist. And for some reason, when I decided to grow my personal brand on LinkedIn, posting about technical stuff never clicked for me. I thought people would not be able to resonate. Anas, on the other hand, did this, pulled this off, and actually has nailed a lot of opportunities. I really want to learn how Anas pulled this. Anas, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Bilal. Thanks for having me. I'm all good. It's a real honor to be here in your podcast to talk about LinkedIn and more. And I'm super happy and excited to be here.
All right. All right. Let's kick this off. So, Anas, starting from the top, you shifted from medicine to architecture engineering and then eventually landed towards data science. What was the journey like and what made you keep on exploring?
Yeah, as you know, most high school students, when we finish, we don't know what we want. We just have dreams and hopes, and we think that maybe medicine is good, maybe engineering, maybe data, because we heard people they can work from the beach somewhere in Vietnam. And for me, it was medicine. I thought that medicine was for me, and I went and I tried. I studied for 1 year. I went to Russia, and I found out that I didn't like it. So I came back to my country, to Morocco, and I did 1 year of architecture. And I found out that I didn't like it again. So I did 5 years of engineering because my dad is an engineer, and I thought it's best to do what your dad does so that you're kind of familiar with what's going on. And I've always been good with maths and numbers and physics a little bit. So I did that again, and after 5 years, I found out that it wasn't for me again. And because I tried and I worked, and I found that the environment wasn't for me. Luckily, in my case, I had a supportive family that they didn't judge me for changing. They knew that it's part of life to figure things out along the way. Other people, they struggle with this. They end up doing a career that they don't enjoy just because everyone in their family or in their environment thinks that that's the norm. So I tried to break that norm to follow something that I enjoy. And that's how I ended up coming to the UK, studying a computer science master's degree and shifting into data, because that's something that when I started it, I thought, ooh, I like this. My brain enjoys it. It's a matter of you finding what your brain enjoys, so that it doesn't feel much as work. It feels like work, but work that you enjoy, so that you give more energy and more effort to it. So yeah, my journey was clearly not linear, and along the way, I felt like a failure so many times. I felt like I failed once, twice, three times, But now that I found something that I like, I'm glad that I went through all those failures because I learned so much about myself and about what I want. And I think that's a super valuable thing to find out what you want. And people call it also a purpose.
Yeah, but I think that people actually are very feared towards the fact that I will make this career change and I will not get a job,
Yes.
maybe I will not get the same level of pay if I make a switch. How can someone actually overcome that fear?
Yeah, I mean, the fear is always there. The way you overcome it is by knowing that you're working on the right things. Let's say that you're going to sacrifice a few months to shift into something that you love, then those 6 months are a great investment. You know, if you wanted to become a cricket player or a football player, you'll have to invest time beforehand and struggle and put on some long days of training and performing some skills. But then when you get there, you feel so happy that you did. And sometimes people they think I'd rather stay in my comfort zone today because it feels comfortable instead of spending 1 year upskilling to get into that new thing that will make me happier and wealthier. So I would say that going through that phase of struggle and fear and maybe even being underpaid compared to what you have now is only necessary for you to get to the next step because what's on the other side of the coin might be something better for you, more enjoyable, and that pays better. So always, if, like in business or software, you invest beforehand, you risk so that you can get something high. You can't just directly go and get the millions. That doesn't work like that. You have to suffer at the beginning so that you learn, fail, so that you get to that level. So yes, I have a motto that I use. Anything that scares me a bit, but in a good way, that I know it's scary to do. Like starting a YouTube channel, a podcast, it's kind of scary deep down. But I
Yeah.
know that challenge is good for me to go to the next level. I see it like a game. I want to up level, then I need to fight those monsters, or monsters are my fears. So that's how I see it. You will always have that fear, but you need to fight it to become a better version of yourself.
So I guess the conclusion is that the outcome is that you want something that in your career that you want to work upon, which you also enjoy. But overcoming that fear is just an investment, an initial investment. Getting underpaid is just an initial investment. Yeah. So
Yes.
what point in your career you started taking LinkedIn seriously, that it became something more of a CV for you? Was there a specific moment that you realized that this platform can actually do things for you?
Yeah, so up until I finished my engineering studies in 2020, 21, I had a blog. So I started to write about the books that I was reading. I was into personal development. I was reading lots of books, and I started to write because I thought that's cool. And a friend of mine who is advanced in his career is like 10 years older than me. He's a salesman, and he told me, why don't you take your articles and put them on LinkedIn?
Mhm.
You can use a new audience with the same content that you have. I was like, no, I think LinkedIn is just to apply for jobs. It's not for articles or something. He was like, no, it's more than that. Just give it a shot. So I went and I posted a few articles and I started to have interest from people. It wasn't even technical, it was just writing about books. And I saw, okay, there are people interested in reading content on a platform that is supposed to be professional. Applying for jobs and posting about certifications and congratulating people for having a new job. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is more than I thought. It's like people thinking TikTok is only for young people dancing. It's more than that. There are nuances to things. And when I did that, I found some really interesting people. And one of them was Justin Welsh. I think you might be familiar with him. At the time,
Big,
he wasn't,
big
he
fan.
wasn't, yeah, he wasn't as famous as today at the time. He was already quite famous, but not as today. And I was like, whoa, this guy writes very clearly. And I like how he structures things and everything. And he had a course. So I went and I paid for it. I was like, okay, I think this is worth my time. But I didn't have a niche. I didn't have some sort of things to talk about. I just thought that this is cool and it's worth it. And I wasn't the type of person that wants to take pictures of myself or be on camera. So I thought writing is better. So this is when my journey with LinkedIn started. I didn't have an idea. I didn't have some sort of expertise to talk about. I just thought it was a great, leverage for me in whatever was gonna come in my journey.
So at this time, did you have the shift towards data science had already taken place, or you were still in the architecture engineering domain?
Yeah, I was still into engineering and I was writing about books, about productivity. I was known for other things. I didn't never spoke about technical things. I never spoke about coding. I just spoke about the things that I enjoy about books, about how to improve my focus, about how to improve my routine, my lifestyle. I was more into personal development than into technical things. But I had to make a shift at some point when I was in university here in the UK to study computer science. I had to transition because I thought that if I stay into the productivity side, then all the audience that I have is I can't leverage it. Yes, I'm known for something that will bring me zero opportunities. It's like those people that chase views, likes on social media, but for the wrong reasons. You have a lot of views and a lot of likes, but you make zero money or you have zero opportunities. And that's not how you want to use social media in general, especially LinkedIn. So I had to transition slowly into that phase, and that was a learning curve and a lot of experimenting. And as you can imagine, at the beginning, not much visibility. It's a journey, it's a process, but you manage to overcome it if you do it right and consistently.
So what is the doing right? Because this is something
Mhm.
that a lot of people can feel challenged towards, that
Yeah.
transitioning from something that belongs to a different domain, and now this person is actually started to talk about something else that is completely different. The audience can get confused. So how did you overcome those challenges? What was your method like?
Yeah, so first of all, it's good to understand that depending on your niche, the audience size will be different. So when you look at people that are famous on LinkedIn, they talk about personal branding, they talk about copywriting, they talk about things that usually have a wide audience because copywriting and personal branding applies to any niche in the world. So their audience size is massive. They can
Hmm.
literally reach anyone within the whole platform. The 1 billion people on LinkedIn can be reached via their content. But when you talk about something specific, the audience will be smaller. That's something that you need to understand upfront. Whether you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, the audience would be smaller. So when I started writing about data science, that was a bit of a shock for me because the productivity content was making good views, good interactions. And as soon as I started to write about data, it was crickets, nothing. And only my people that used to comment on my productivity things used to comment just to support me. They're like, we don't understand, but we're here to support you. Kind of vibe, like your mom when you just start a YouTube channel, she's the first one commenting on all the videos. And
Yes.
yeah, so I had to learn that. And for me, the way I did is balancing technical and non-technical posts so that you keep that non-technical posts that give you visibility. You can talk about, I don't know, experiences, some things you struggled with, some things you overcame, some personal development, sharing your journey because that's something that people relate to and they enjoy. They want to see who is behind that data science title. They want to know who Anas is. It's more interesting than just knowing some sort of data scientist. Like people nowadays, they relate more to personal brands than to brands themselves. If you see Elon Musk, he has way more visibility and followers than Tesla and SpaceX combined. People follow people. Cristiano Ronaldo has more followers than anyone, any brand you can imagine. McDonald's, whatever, combine them all, and he has more than them. People want to know you, and that's something they can leverage to gain more visibility. Share your story. People can relate to you, can open up conversations with you. Plus, the technical content, I call it authority content. That's the one that you want to add so that people know, okay, you're not just about sharing some tips about stuff, you're about talking serious talk technical. You prove that, okay, I'm good at what I do. And these are things that I solve. These are problems that I counter. This is what I did for clients. This is some coding tip that many people struggled with that you can help. And yes, again, you're going to have less views on this one, but those less views will have more of an impact in terms of opportunities and even income or clients than the other posts will. So a good mix of posts that give more storytelling vibe so that people get to know you, and posts that give more authority vibe that people get to understand what you do, and maybe if they have a need for that service they will reach out to you.
Got it. I think this is something that I really wanted to, know because I always hesitated talking about, JavaScript promises, await and sync,
Mm.
because I thought that, maybe people will not, enjoy this sort of content. But I guess that, this strategy is very good, that you keep this storytelling aspect, like, divide your content in different days. One day talk about your storytelling and, about your personal journey, and then, you keep on talking about the other aspect. And then this point that you've mentioned, that you will get less views on the content, on the technical content, but that is going to convert more opportunities. So that's the way to go. I really appreciate the answer. Very, very good
Mm.
answer for that. So you also, mentioned about Justin Welsh. I'm a big fan, and
Mm.
when I started posting about, I had, I think, 2,000 or 1,000 followers or something, and I looked at that guy and I said, because his writing is so super clear and, has some sort of an impact on your soul, right? So
Mhm.
I actually started, just posting like that, have one creative with a single quote, and I was not getting any traction at all, on even on that content, because my one of the marketing consultant I hired, she said that, Justin Welsh is at a very big level right now, right? So, and you're not, so he can post about this stuff and still get a lot of reaction, a lot of, you need to,
Yeah.
talk about something that can add value, other than just motivation. So I just wanted to know that, because I've also bought Justin's course, but I actually never got the chance to go through it. So which one? I think he has three different courses, right? There is a content operating system, then there is a creator MBA, and then there is a third one. Which one did you take actually?
Honestly, I didn't know that he had three. This was like 4 years ago. I think the content operating system, I think the oldest one, anyways. I'm not familiar with the new ones.
Okay, 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 okay. Very nice. And
Mhm.
that did help you, organize your LinkedIn in a more better way.
Yes, definitely. It helped me improve my profile. It helped me write a little bit better. It gave me confidence. I thought, okay, I have now the framework to use and I can start applying it myself.
Got it. I will definitely, follow that course. I have it in. I've bought it, but I've never. There was a discount going on. I bought it, but I never got to, follow it. Anyhow, back to the topic. So when we were discussing about, this podcast, you told me about Ash Ali, who is the author of Unfair Advantage, right? And he found you through your content on LinkedIn and offered you to work on a project with him. So what was
Yeah.
that like? What did that moment actually teach you?
That was outstanding. That was one of the biggest moments I think I've experienced in my life. In 2022, before coming to the UK, at the time I started to read a lot. I was really into personal development, and I bought his book on Audible. So I was listening to the audiobook, and I was at the gym. I even remember the day that I was listening to his book, and I was like, "Whoa, I love this book." And that's where I got to know him and his co-author Hassan Kuba as well. And then on LinkedIn, slowly I added him, I added Hassan, I started to engage with their content. So I built that a little bit. They started to see me. When they post, I comment and I add some genuine value. And when he reached out to me, I was completely blown away because I didn't expect someone like him, a successful entrepreneur and author, to reach out to me while I was still in university for a project. It didn't seem right. And I remember when I received the message, I looked at it, it was on a Friday, and I just smiled and I closed LinkedIn. I thought it was a scam. I didn't even answer him for the whole day. I promise I didn't answer. I thought it's another scam because people scam a lot these days. And I
Mm-hmm.
closed this. Then I went home after university on a Friday, and again I go and I open LinkedIn, and I see that me and him had a conversation before. So he offered some sort of PDF to download, and in his posts, and I replied to the post, and he sent it to me via my DM, my private messages. So we had some conversation going. So I'm like, okay, we barely spoke, me and him, before. He sent me a PDF, so it's him. And I check his profile, it's Ash Ali, and he's asking me, hey Anas, I have this data project, and I looked on my network and I found you, and I would love to have a chat with you. Give me your phone number. Like, okay, send him my phone number. Like 30, 40 minutes later, he's calling me. Hey, Anas, it's Ash. How you doing? Like, well, I'm blown away. I'm like, this is a guy that, I'm quite a fan of. So he explained to me what he needed. I was like, I'm quite a beginner, but I'll do my best to help. I was upfront with him. I didn't pretend that I knew everything. I was like, yes, I understand your need, but I will do my best to provide. He was like, I'll trust you on this one. I don't need someone to be necessarily very experienced. I'm someone that like trusts people and invests in people. He was really nice, you know. So he gave me my first ever like big project, you know, like £2,000 that I got paid, and I just thought that LinkedIn could open so many doors because he literally came from LinkedIn, just out of nowhere. He just came, said hi, can you do this? I said yes, and I ended up working with him for like 3 4 months. That was exceptional.
And like this was your first job ever of data science that was related to data science that you got through LinkedIn?
Yes, through LinkedIn, yes. So I did Upwork a little bit before. When I was in uni, I was taking on a small project, but this one was the first time something came to me from LinkedIn in data science. Yes.
So you also told me in the interview that, when we were talking about this podcast, that you got a job, a full-time job that paid you $56,000 almost, and that was by posting through LinkedIn consistently. So did
Yeah.
that shift your mindset about personal branding and online credibility?
Clearly, you know, when things start coming your way, you everything changes. You think this is real, and I want to add a little bit of nuance to LinkedIn and personal branding because for both experiences that I had, the one that you mentioned before with Ash Ali and the one of getting my first full-time job here in the UK, there's a nuance. It's not just me being active on LinkedIn. It's me also being active with the people from the company as well. So in case of Ash Ali, I was commenting on his posts. I added him, so I had him on my network. So there was some sort of interaction. So I wasn't some sort of complete stranger and opportunities came my way, you know? So that's something I really want to emphasize because even the job that I got in the UK here, I had a friend of mine, she's from Spain, Deborah, and she told me there is a successful entrepreneur in Cardiff, where I live here in Cardiff. And she's like, follow him. He's good. Just follow him on LinkedIn. And I went and I followed him and I engaged with his content for 6 months until one day their recruiter of his company reached out to me. So it's not just being active on LinkedIn, it's also being super proactive. You know, you can attract those opportunities by not just sitting, putting on some content and say, hey, Anna said that LinkedIn works, why didn't it didn't work for me? But I've put so much effort into things as well. Generally, just put so much effort that in the end, whenever those people had opportunities, they thought about me first because they saw me so many times. It just for them just made sense to contact me and offer me that opportunity.
Got it. Right. So when you were in the transition, when you started your data science masters in UK, right? You were just
Yeah.
a student, right? And but you started posting about data science as well, I guess, right?
Yeah, this is when I had the transition between productivity content
Per
and data science.
So what I want to ask from you is that, a lot of students, because when I tell people that, you should work on their personal brand, specifically students, they have this one question that I've not done anything, I've not achieved anything, so what can I post
Mhm.
about? So and you were posting and you actually got paid for posting through Ashley. Can you let students know what should they talk about?
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, all you can talk about is what you're learning, and that's what I did. You know, I was going to university, I had a course on machine learning algorithms. I was talking about them. I did a course on data analysis with some tools and frameworks. I was talking about them. I did a small project on the side following a YouTube tutorial, something I learned. I was talking about it. Plus, you know, there's a lot of like articles, YouTube videos, resources. You can learn so much, and then you can just whatever you learn, just share it again. And that's how you can start because it's true. When you're in university, you usually don't have experience. So you need something to share to show that, okay, you are into data science. And the only way you can do it is by sharing what you learn. Or, as I recommend to lots of people that speak to me on LinkedIn, is to do freelancing, even when you're in university. And a lot of them say, but I don't have the degree yet to start. And I tell them that most of my opportunities, no one even asked me if I have a master's. The full-time job that I had in the UK, they didn't even check my CV. They didn't even look at it. They spoke to me directly because uh, LinkedIn is like your CV. You know, they see everything. They see an open book. They see this guy every day talking about data science. So why should we doubt him about his expertise, you know. So it's the things are shifting a little bit, you know, and the more you invest in showing to the world that you're good at what you do via posting, being on YouTube, Medium, whatever you're comfortable with, and the more you'll be likely to attract opportunities to come your way. Finished are those days where you don't put a picture on your LinkedIn because you don't want to show your face. Just have one CV and send it everywhere and hope for the best. It just doesn't work anymore.
So when did you actually, in which year did you actually, started being really active on LinkedIn? Like, is it just most recently when we met, or is it like back in 2020s or something?
Yeah, so it was up and down, a lot of up and downs. I was very active in 2022 when I just started. Then I had a little bit of a drop when I was studying my computer science degree because I thought I talk about something, but I do something else, and it felt a little bit strange. And when I filled that gap between what I was and data science, then I started to enjoy it because day by day I get more experience, you know, in Upwork or in my jobs, and then I can talk about more things, you know, so it became more enjoyable. But again, recently, for the past few months, I came back to LinkedIn very seriously, being more active, because I do believe that it's a game changer. You know, whether you have a business or whether you're looking for jobs, whether you're looking to grow a personal brand, to just get more opportunities, it's a big one. And the mistake that a lot of people make is that they're only active on LinkedIn when they need something, and
Yeah.
that's a negative vibe that you give from yourself. You become like a needy person, and usually needy person don't attract opportunities. It's just the sad reality, you know. So generally, even if you have a job right now and you feel safe, why don't you slowly start on LinkedIn, just build up that portfolio, talking to people, just build that skill, and one day I'm sure you will benefit from it. You know, it's not when things are bad that, okay, I need a quick fix right now. LinkedIn is not a quick fix. It's a long-term plan that hopefully will yield lots of opportunities along the way in your journey.
I think that it's. I look at it from this perspective that it's kind of an insurance for your career, right? Because if God forbids,
Yeah.
if you lose your job, but you were someone who was constantly posting on LinkedIn, right? Then just because you were actively posting and people followed you, just one single post that I'm looking for new opportunities, and opportunities would get lined up because people have already seen you as someone with authority. So that is, in that sense, I think that people should look LinkedIn as an insurance for their long term career, right?
I like that. I like the insurance parts. It's really clever, and I totally agree. Well done. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would like to ask you that, did you when you people actually start posting on LinkedIn, because the writing is not come no, writing does not come naturally to everyone, right? Some people are
No.
very good at it, some people are not. So now with the advent of AI, people are also making use of it. So did you use AI to create your LinkedIn content? How was the experience like?
I did. I did before. A few years ago, I did. Obviously, because I thought that, wow, this is magical. I can write quickly and even better. You know, I'm non-native. My English is not my first language, so I had to
Huh?
learn to speak and learn to write. So it took me a long time. So when ChatGPT came and other AI tools, I was like, wow, I was like blown away. But one thing that happened is that I lost the creativity aspect. And I am someone very creative. I like to write. I like to film videos. I like to make designs sometimes. And I didn't like that that was taken away from me, kind of, because I was speeding up the process. Because AI is all about automation, gaining back your time, being productive. And that's amazing. I use it for coding and stuff. But for writing, I just thought that it was giving me shortcuts for things that I enjoy. So what I did in the end, I just ended up coming back to writing without using AI. But it doesn't mean that I don't use it. I use it for brainstorming. I use it for research. I use it to get ideas, to validate some ideas. But the writing itself, I write by myself because I just enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that for someone like you enjoy writing, and I also am like you. I also like to write my content myself, and but for people who actually find it difficult, I think making use of AI is very something that can get them started, get them the push that they need. And that
Yeah.
for that reason we have ConnectGenie. But when we launched ConnectGenie, there was this problem that a lot of people were facing, that they said that the content that is being generated was quite robotic, or it feels quite AI generated, and that was the case actually. So that's why we actually introduced the persona feature, in
Hmm.
which you can define your writing style, talk about tell AI that this is how I write, this is how my voice sounds like, and then it will mimic that writing style
Hmm.
to create your content. So I do agree with you that it can the AI can take away the creativity, but that is for those people who love writing. But for people who find it difficult, and a
Hmm.
lot of time, I'm an entrepreneur. You have worked as a freelancer, and you also have your own timings to work. For a lot of people, I think it's not possible to create make time for creating the content, right? So
Yeah.
this tools like ConnectGenie, or just using Chat GPT directly, they can actually help you get started somewhere, and then if you start enjoying the process, then you can adopt an
Mm.
methodology of writing yourself. So that's that. So any LinkedIn hacks that you've figured out over the past few years that you've started posting? I've figured out one, and I'll tell you about it, but I would like to ask you that if you found out something that can dodge the LinkedIn algo.
Yeah, I mean, before LinkedIn hacks, I think LinkedIn, how you write and structure your post is critical. There
Hmm.
are the first and second sentences, they're called hooks. And if you don't capture the attention of your audience, you lose them. There is visual hook and there is text hook. The text hook is the text that you see before the three dots to click on to see the rest of the content.
See
And
more, yeah.
see more, yeah, that's like a teasing, like it's the first 5-10 seconds on a YouTube video. You either get hooked or you go home, you leave to
Hmm.
another video. And
Yeah.
that's very important. I learned this the hard way, because sometimes just changing the hook, you have way more people reading and commenting on your post. So that's something to focus on. The visual hook is the same as the text hook, but it's visual, like adding a picture or an image to the post to give it more strength. It's either, for example, if you have an authority post, you have a picture of yourself giving a talk in your university or school or work. Or if it's something about co-working or remote work, you just put a picture of yourself being somewhere working on your computer. It just adds that freshness to the post that gives it more visibility. So these are not, I wouldn't say hacks. These are just like things that you should adopt when you write. You just think of them when you write. Think of, is this hook good? And think about it even more. Always when you finish the hook, come back to it and try to adjust it. And if you can add numbers to it, that will be amazing. People love numbers. When you say, I have this hacks for you, you will best say 5 hacks to grow your LinkedIn by 25%. People like these numbers. It's crisp. It feels like, okay, on one post, I can get information. So add numbers as much as you can as well. Hacks, I would say, on LinkedIn would be to get people to comment on your posts early on. And that's called the law of reciprocity. So basically, like for example, me and Bilal, we connect, we comment on each other's posts. If when he posts, I comment early and a few other people comment early, it will give a lot of exposure to that post. And LinkedIn, they really value that. That's why you can go right now and copy someone's famous post, like Justin Welsh, and you will get nothing.
Yeah.
It's not because the post is not good. It's because no one pushed that post. And the way it works is LinkedIn has 3 levels of connection. You have level 1, it means that we're already connected, like me and Bilal. Level 2 is, for example, if you're connected to Bilal but not to me, you're my level 2, like a second degree connection. And third degree is that we don't have connections in common. And the way LinkedIn processes is that when you have first connections that comment on your post early, it will show it to their first connections, which is your second, and then it will show it to their first connection, which is your third. So the more people you have early on, the better for your visibility. It doesn't mean you need to go pay people to do it. It just means that you need to also be supportive of people. You need to comment on people's posts so that they feel also the need to support you as well. And that will help your content go a little bit further. And in terms of hacks, you have a few. Like sometimes what I do, I post at the same time every morning at 7:30 a.m. UK time, so that people get used to seeing Anas's post when they have their coffee in the morning. It's like you build an subconscious habit on people's brain that I post 7:30. If they open LinkedIn at 7:30, they should see me. That's like a habit. So a lot of people say doesn't matter when you post. I would say yes, doesn't matter when, but just stick to one. Don't post today 2 p.m. and tomorrow 8 a.m. People will not get a frequency. They will get always like not used to what's going on. So pick up one time. And another thing that I do is that in the afternoon, I repost my post.
Yeah.
So I have an audience in the UK, I have an audience in Asia, I also have an audience in America. And you can see that the hours difference is massive between, for example, India and the USA. I don't know, 10 hours, 11 hours sometimes, so the difference is massive.
Yes, yes.
So,
A
yeah, so
lot of difference. A lot of.
when you repost in the afternoon, you get the chance for the audience, for example, in the US, to see the post that they didn't see because it was very late in where they live.
So I think, yeah, I mean, all this advice is pretty nice. Actually, these are hacks. Even if you're not calling them hacks, these are actually hacks because, I've actually most recently realized myself as well that it's important to find those people who actually can, support you as well. And then, you make sure that whenever they post, and, you go ahead and comment on them, on their post as well. And I've actually also started following that routine as well. And the second thing I think is that about the posting time, uh, I think that you need to have a consistent posting time. If you are posting between different times, it has something to do with the LinkedIn algorithm as well. As per Jasmine Alec, I read one of her posts in his one of his posts. He said that post on a specific time. Don't keep on changing the time. And one of the other hacks that I had learned, and that I think that you also follow that, and the other people that we in our network, they also follow that, is that we whenever you are posting, immediately after you post, you add 2 to 3 pinned comments that that are extending the original post. Like if you have given 7 tips in the post itself, then give a 8 tip in the pinned comment. And that also somehow tells the algorithm that this post is actually getting some traction. So I've started doing this, and that has that has started giving me some benefit, and I'm getting a better reach for that. So I think we've asked most of the questions. I wanted to ask you one thing, was that if there is a student who is trying to get to a new field, right? What would be your general advice to them? And like general advice in terms of their profession, and general advice towards looking at personal branding. How should they look at it?
Yeah, it's a very vague question, but there are some common knowledge that could be applied. And we live now in an era where we have AI and it's easy access to have information around. You can just prompt ChatGPT, you can get any plethora of knowledge, and it's a good thing, it's a blessing, but it's also a curse for people that are just starting out. And what's happening these days is that the gap between graduates and juniors and senior people is getting wider and wider, because senior people, they have the knowledge. Bilal, you've been coding and developing for so long that you know what you're doing even without ChatGPT. And now that you have ChatGPT, it's like a boost, like, a nice push, in whatever you do. However, the graduates and junior people, when they start directly with those massive tools, they end up neglecting really learning the fundamentals of whatever they're doing, and they over rely on the tools, which ends up blocking them sometimes, because if something happens wrong, they're not able to understand what went wrong with it. So my approach would be to never skip those basics. It's very important if you shift to a new field to get those basics right, and a lot of hands-on. I've been before, when I just started data science, I used to watch those 15 hours courses of, free code camp and whatever, chilling on my
Yeah.
couch there and watching 15 hours. And I was thinking that was very productive. But it wasn't the case. When I went and I had to do something on my computer, I couldn't do anything, like barely
Yeah.
write a normal function, nothing crazy. So that's something I learned, is tutorials and certifications by themselves if you don't practice a lot, they're worthless, honestly. Yes, you get a feel of what's going on. You can see visually that people can do things, but if you have to reproduce them, you end up not doing anything, you know. It's pointless to go and take on a 20-hour Excel course if you don't do any practice. You'd rather do just 5 hours of practice than watching 20 hours, because watching by itself, you will never learn. So nowadays, if I learn a new skill, I will tell you how I do it. I will try and get quickly the fundamentals in terms of just getting a feel, watch a few videos, go to ChatGPT, tell me, okay, what's going on in that field, just so I get like a mind map understanding, okay, just like a big picture of it. Then I will go and I dive into projects directly, even if I don't have the technical skills yet, but I will build them along the way. And if you're smart and you want to also leverage your community and the audience, share what you're learning as well on LinkedIn. So that's a big boost. Something that pushed me out of my comfort zone is to make videos about technical topics, because not only I needed to understand them, but I needed to be able to explain them. And this explain part or teaching part is the tricky one, because if you can explain something to someone in a simple way, it means that you understand it fully. So put yourself in a situation of a little bit of stress. When you learn something, go and teach it, either to someone that you know, if you want, or better, to your audience. Write about it, and therefore you're gonna learn new things and also share them with your audience, which will strengthen whatever you're learning.
Actually, when we used to have exams, what I used to do in my university or even in my school days, I would learn something and then practice it a lot, and then to make sure that I've understood it correctly, I would go and teach to someone else, because that ensured
Yes.
that now I've understood. So you've concluded this very beautifully, that this, and I think that the personal branding is at the end of the day quite much related to this, that you're actually just teaching about what you have learned and what are the problems that you have solved, and that is making you authoritative, and also helping others that are in the at some point back in their journey. So very beautifully you concluded that. So what are you working on these days, and where can people find you?
Yeah, so this way, these days I work as a data analyst and BI consultant for a tech company.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also very active on LinkedIn, as you know, and YouTube. So for anyone that is looking to connect for content about data analytics in general, you can find my YouTube channel that Bilal, I suppose, will share with you, or my LinkedIn channel. I'm always happy to have a chat. As I say to many students that reach out to me specifically, I'm always happy to give a chat and answer questions. So don't hesitate.
Yeah, I will make sure that I will leave Anas' credentials, his LinkedIn, his YouTube channel in the description of this video, and all the other content that is going to be posted along with podcast. So we'll make sure to do that. Anas, thank you very much for giving us the time and sharing your journey with such honesty. To everyone listening, just start building your personal brand before you feel ready, right? Just like Anas has told, if you're a student, you can talk about what you've learned in your assignments, in your projects, and then when you are in your professional careers, you can talk about any problem that you're solving on your work day on a daily basis. So start before you're ready, talk in your unique voice, help others to learn from your journey, and build a better career for yourself. If you have liked this episode, I would request that you give it a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode. Thanks.